Brahmachalani, you first. Are you surprised by what's happened, given the fact that just a few weeks ago, we had Prime Minister Modi have a face-to-face at the G20 with the Chinese Premier? Are you surprised at all that just a few weeks later, we've seen what we have in Arunachal? Or are you going to de-link the two?
As the Pentagon said recently, that the Chinese strategy is to downplay the militaries with India. So, and that actually is what China is pursuing. It's pursuing aggression with engagement. It's seeking political normalcy with India. Its trade with India is surging to the extent that its trade surplus with India has overtaken India's total defense spending. So from the Chinese side, they're having the cake and eating it too, while continuing with the aggression for the last 1 month. And actually, it also suits the Indian government because the Indian government has not acknowledged the loss of territories in Ladakh, and therefore de-emphasizing the Chinese aggression actually works to the benefit of both sides. But clashes have to be seen in the larger light because these clashes have been recurrent. These clashes began on May 1st, 2020, when India first discovered the Chinese encroachments in Ladakh. Since then, there have been periodic opposing forces in Ladakh, in Uttarakhand, on the Sikkim-Tibet border, and on the Tawang Tibet border. So these clashes have been happening periodically. Unfortunately, the Indian media tends to focus only on the Galwan Valley clashes, disregarding the other clashes that have been happening for the last 31 months. So these clashes are not uncommon, but they underscore the dangers of escalation, because any particular clash can get out of hand. And when rival forces are increasing in strength, and the enemies are still engaged in frenzied buildup of both forces and border infrastructure, the dangers of escalation, of accidental conflict, are real.
So you're actually saying there have been 31 clashes, you claim, since May of 2020. General Kulkarni, you want to respond to that? Are we seeing a situation where the real danger is any of these clashes? In this instance, the disengagement seems to have happened in reasonably quick time. But is there a fear that any of these clashes could go out of control? Do you see any pattern if there have been 31 clashes, as Professor Chelani claimed, since May of 2020?
Rajdeep, thank you very much. First and foremost, this kind of a patrolling activity by the Chinese, at least I have witnessed it in the place where you're all referring to as Yangtze. I've seen it happening in 1999, just when the Kargil war was on, and it not just lasted, it lasted almost, I think, nearly 60 days. And then we had to hold a flag meeting at Bumla. I was the commanding officer, so I know exactly what happened there. Subsequently, later also in 2006, as a brigade commander there, I know this is a kind of patrolling activity which the Chinese indulge in. And there is always been a perception there, because this is their claimed grazing ground. They keep saying that again and again. And we have a stone wall created. They always want to step out of the stone walls. And that's where the pushing arises, that look, don't cross these stone walls. This is where it is. And invariably, they do sometimes come in strength. Sometimes they don't come in strength. We see it exactly because we are all in dominating heights. We know exactly there's a road down below. So we watch what's going on. They all come up, and that's the time. It's question, the Chinese have been doing it. Chinese will continue to do it. They intend building a pressure on India as much as whichever way they can. And at least I have seen it, as I told you, from 1999. And it's a regular feature because of the perception of the LAC. And to say that it has happened just now, yes, just because it has happened after Galwan. And obviously, when I'm referring to 1999, the agreements have been signed 93, 96. And immediately after that, you find that happening. You find Xi Jinping taking over in 2012. You find after 2013, continuous rapid incidents of these kinds. Yes, Chinese can't be trusted. Chinese are building pressure. You see the kind of infrastructure activities that the Chinese have built up. You see the kind of build-up that has taken place. You see all the infrastructure that has come up over there. All kinds of things that I have not witnessed it in the last at least 20 years that I was watching them so closely while while I was in the service. But yes, in the last about 3-4 years, tremendous amount of activities are taking place, and that's what we really need to watch out for. We have to be absolutely vigilant. We are vigilant because we are all dominating heights. We know exactly what's happening, and that is the plus point with us. Our troops are there. The Chinese can't surprise us at all. They know it. Yes, after all this, like they've disengaged, there's a flag beating that takes place at Bumla over there, and then the troops disengage, and that is what happens. But we must not be complicit. We must be vigilant, because Chinese will continue to do what they're doing. There is no denying the fact, and we have to ensure that there's, there and then it must be resolved.